This is Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk. This is Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk.
Get into the relationships aspect of Magnificent. This is where the bulk of my questions come from. Okay. It's right here. I might have to mix it up with my other topic because we've been talking for a long time. Not that I mind, but I've been told that some of my episodes go long, and I wind up having to chop it up into pieces. And some people don't like it. I shouldn't really care, but I'm trying to do something with this, so we'll see how it works. But anyway. So, let's see here. What do we want to do for the first one? Okay. Let's give them a shout out first. So, we know that you're married, or those who know that you're married. You mentioned the first marriage, which I wasn't going to talk about at all, because...
What? That was 15 years of my life. We talking about it. It happened. I got a baby. I got a son out of that one.
I know. Screw him, but I love Trey, but screw him. Sorry, Trey. I don't mean to talk bad about your daddy, but screw that nigga. Anyway, because I know some stuff. I've been friends with your mom a long time. I know some stuff.
To not have stuff, but he a good dude.
I know, but okay.
It just can be things that ain't meant to work. I don't date bad guys. He a good guy. Maybe not the person for me, but a good guy.
Okay.
You're just biased. Next.
I'm allowed to be biased.
You are. So I have a new husband. Yes, I got remarried. Mm-hmm.
This one's a good guy. The other one. Kiss my anyway. So let's start with how long have you been married to the good guy, not the piece of crap, the good guy?
5 years. I've been remarried 5 years.
Awesome. We ain't gonna call it remarried. We just gonna call it married. No point doing this where you hear none of these questions where you hear remarried at. It's just married. Bump that Negro. Married. Okay. Hey, listen. I'm just saying. You know me. You knew I was gonna be me.
Apart.
Mm-hmm.
We're not bashing
people do grow apart. I'm not bashing. I'm just stating facts. Like everything, I'm like you. I come with receipts.
You're so stupid. I've been married for 5. You're horrible. I was married the first time for 15, then I got divorced, and I've been married now 5.
You've been married for 5 years. I told you we're not dealing with that first one. That first one don't count. You were stuck you were stuck with this guy. Almost like, R. Kelly trapped them little girls in the basement. You were stuck for 15 years and wound up having something beautiful named Tremendous come out of that experience because, even out of the mud, something beautiful can happen. But outside of that, he's still mud.
I think you only tell your friends the negative stuff sometimes, and then it taints them.
No, you told me all. You told me the good and the bad. And I weighed both. Over the course of the time I have known, and the good does not outweigh the bad. Now, he may be a good dude now, but that ain't got nothing to do with this. Bump him. Anyway, so, shout out to the good husband. We're going to call your name in a second. Shout out to the good husband. And the next question is, however, Scott who is your husband, he is not African American. Which for me is not an issue because, my first one was not one of us, and so I understand. What other than race? We're gonna start with this. What other than race for you? Being married is. I'm trying to read it. I messed up how I gotta read this close now. That's how I'm getting old. Other race for you being married. Oh, okay. I missed a word. That's why I missed a word reading it, and it's sitting right there. What other than race is different for you? Being married as opposed to any other relationship you've been in. So aside from, the different racial issues that can come up that you have to come together on to understand, what other than that is different about you, Magnificent the wife, as opposed to Magnificent who has been a girlfriend and has been trapped in a closet or in the basement with that 15-year mess that produced something beautiful?
This time around, well, it's so much different in the second marriage. You keep saying it. I'm saying it the way I want to say it. But it's so much different when the second time around. It's just, because you had it first. But I think when you initially get together, you your parents always tell you, look at the big picture, and they list a bunch of things, at least mine did, that you're supposed to watch out for, because my grandmother had been married multiple times. And you ignore it, and you marry for love. I got to put quotations on that, because, that's what you do. And then, and you're growing in yourself, and you're growing through that. And so you give a lot, way more, and you accept a lot, and you just go through a lot, right? And you're growing into yourself. The second time you marry, love is on the list. It is way down on that motherfucker, okay? It's way down. It's a lot of other things. It's almost like the 80-20 rule. You'd be like, okay, so what did I not quite hit right? So you start looking for all of those things, and other things rise to the top. So for me, I mean, think that this my spouse now, we're both engineers. We're both Virgos, which I don't even ask. That's its own problem. Maybe don't marry your own sign. But no, and he's really into fixing things, building things. We kind of ended up actually falling in love on rebuilding his house, on refurbishing his house. And so we just had that connection, and so we do a lot of stuff together. He's the early riser. He is, got a ton of energy, and he goes out of his way to try to show appreciation. I guess the best way to say this is your first time you get engaged or even married or any of that, you marry the person you love a lot, and you give a lot. You're like, I love you more, and I'm going to give this to you. The next time you marry, you probably marry the person who loves you more and wants to express that to you. And then you balance. It's balanced. Don't get me wrong. It's not all take, but the view is different. And so, and so the growth is different, right? I'm a lot older too. So he's older even than I am. He's several years older than me, like a lot. And so we, it's a different vibe. We're like literally like that old married couple, because it's a different vibe. He's like trying to regain his youth, and I'm like in zen, like, okay, I'm not doing that, and he's okay with it. So those things kind of work. There's days that they don't work, and it's like anything else. But I think you understand your boundaries. You're way more transparent because you understand them now too. You cross your boundary, so it's not a guessing. I think when you get together in the beginning, you're guessing your boundaries. You kind of know those lines, and I was pretty accurate with my boundaries, so yay for me. But you really don't know till you're crossed it. Once you cross it, you like, oh yeah, that's a hard line for me, and you're not guessing anymore. So you're not meek about that, and when somebody's older, they kind of have gone through it too. So I think one of the things I changed about me, which I really feel bad for. I remember that in previous times people have asked me to be a little bit more vulnerable. I was like, yeah, kind of. And I tried, but it wasn't the same. I'm much more vulnerable in this time around. In addition to that, like one of the questions I had asked, I remember this so bad. I actually, there's things I don't feel bad about, but this one I kind of feel a little bad about. I was asked in my previous marriage many times if I would just sit at the dinner table, because they really wanted to do the whole dinner table family thing. And I was just opposed to it, but no good reason. Like, I look back now and I'm like, that didn't make any sense. Like, I would just smack me and be like, bitch, go to the table and eat. Why you gotta be difficult? Because we would cook and I would walk away from the table. Like, it was just wrong. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. But now I sit at the table, mainly because he takes the meal to the table. I tried to do the same thing, and he would like put it on the table. He just thinking new ways to outsmart me. So it's like already at the dinner table, already serving, and I got to sit there and put it on the plate. And then he's like, could you please sit down? And at that point, you just got to be evil or something to walk away at that point and be like, you just want to start a problem. So I usually ended up sitting at the table. Now it's a routine. We always sit at the table. But I mean, just little things, just growth. I think knowing yourself, being at peace with yourself, kind of, and knowing your boundaries and looking for those new different things really helps. So it definitely wasn't race, because that was the hardest piece to accept, actually. I never thought I would date a white guy. I didn't. I was like, no.
Oh, I know, because you dogged me for mine, so I understand. That's why I was like, I know.
Yeah, gross. But it was literally, a sneak attack. I joke about it, but it was. But it worked out.
So speaking of it being hard for you, and shout out to Scott, because you were good one, Doc. And when you see this interview and you hear me say that, ask your wife how hard it is to get that statement from me. I don't say that often. So you a good dude. And I'm looking up at the camera. See, my laptop's down here, but I'm looking right to the camera. So you can see dead in these beady eyes. You a good one. You a good dude. Appreciate you, sir. Especially because you got rid of that other. Anyway. So yeah, you good dude. You a good dude. But how hard was it for your family to receive him, being that he's not black, and for his family to receive you, being that you're not white?
Neither were hard at all, honestly. I was surprised.
Oh, that's a blessing.
My family already had white people in it, so it was fine. So it was we weren't the first rodeo. My grandmother's first son's wife, that was probably the hardest one, and she worked all that out. So by then, everybody had worked it all out, and there was no issues. My other cousins married to white dude. It was easy. I think I had the hardest time, way harder than they did. Now, his family, very easy, but I will tell a story that's worth a mention. So, we're going to meet his mom, and everything, and his mom and father are still married, been married for 10 years, one of those types. So, since the dawn of time, so 40 or more years. So I think they just got their 50th anniversary, whatever, but you get it, a long, long time. So we're going to go meet them like the next day, like tomorrow. And I'm like, and she's talked to me or knew of me. We were still dating, not even like, we're still in the dating phase. And I'm like, you did tell her I'm black, right? And he goes like, no, why? He goes, no. And he seriously sits there and he's like, no. And I was like, what do you mean, no? I was like, if you don't text this woman right now, then tell her I'm black. I need her to work all of her oh shit face out. You know that. I don't want her to answer the door and I can read it all on her face. I don't care what comes out of her mouth. I'm going to see it. Let her work that out so she's ready. Don't surprise nobody with that. Tell her. He was like, oh, you think so? He's like, my parents are cool. I'm like, have you ever brought a black woman home? He's like, no. I'm like, if you don't hurry up and put this in the text, like, let her know. Your ex was white. Like, let her know. He texted a picture that he still didn't say anything. He just texted a picture of me. So I guess that was his way of saying it. But at least she knew. So, but he texted on the car ride down there. We were living in Oklahoma and they live in Wichita. He texted on the car ride down. She was so sweet by the time we got there. But it was very sweet, very nice. But yeah, I'm like, this man trying to have, what is wrong with him? He did not, he was going, surprise.
Oh no, serious. I know that experience all too well.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that.
Her grandparents, or grandmother in particular, got the surprise. And she pulled her aside, and I have always said, she said it so that I could hear it. It has been said to me, she just doesn't realize the sound, how much her voice carries, because she pulled her away. It was one of those like we didn't even get in the door. We were just coming to visit. It was Christmas time or what? I think it was Christmas time. One of them holidays. It was coming down to visit real quick, and it was going to go on about our business. And so we get to the door, and as we're coming to the door, she's coming out. So I'm guessing her daddy said something because she didn't. That's all I can think, because otherwise, why was this a conversation had now, as opposed to then if she had said? So she grabs her by the arm and pulls her up to the porch. I hadn't moved because I know what the arm grab is. So I'm waiting, and all I hear is, if you marry him, I'm going to disown you. Yeah. That made for a real fun dinner. So... So when you say the face, I know the face well, which is why I figured, let me ask that question, because I have lived that experience. So let me ask to find out what yours was like, especially since you know all the things you had said about me.
I know. Growth. It's all about growth. I know. But yeah. So yeah, but I was, everybody told me, oh, I kind of guessed you were dating. I was like, I didn't guess it for myself, so that's crazy. But it worked out the way it did.
So here's one that acknowledges that past person, Swamp Rat. Your family is, and this is something also that I can also relate to. Your family is what's called a blended family. People love them types of terms.
Yeah.
Since your son is not biologically Scots, he is the beautiful spawn of swamp rats. who has turned out to be an outstanding, wonderful young man.
You
Like
okay?
he has surpassed he has your genes. I don't know. God did something because he has all your genes and none of his. Because he has no. I've not seen swamp rat in him at all. But what are some of the struggles that you had to overcome to successfully blend your family together? Because that's not an easy thing to do,
No,
especially
My
with you
grandmother
being
said-
you.
No, actually, it wasn't hard at all. My grandmother said a lot of things to me growing up, and she had been married multiple times, and it's all in what you set the stage early. Like there was never gonna be none of that bullshit. I kind of think like when Will Smith and Jada and they tell their story, it was never gonna be all this back and forth. None of that. It was when you are kind of upfront with someone, and Charles and I always had good parenting skills. Like no matter what was going on, we were good parents. But so it was easy to get back into co-parenting, and Scott was told him how it was going to be, and he was kind of like, okay, he wasn't used to it, so he had questions, but he didn't like fight against it because that wouldn't have worked. He kind of rolled with it. So we've had, and we still have, like Thanksgiving dinners all together, all of us, like everybody, and it was just gonna work. Like, look, we're gonna make this work. The awkwardest moment, awkwardest moment. So there's been like three that I can clearly name. The first one was Charles to this day and gives me gifts on all the important events like Mother's Day, birthday, Christmas. I'm gonna get a gift. I actually encouraged Scott to give his ex-wife a gift. I'm like, she's the mother of your child. If you don't get a woman a gift for Mother's Day, so it was good. But this was the first one. So Scott had never given his ex-wife a Mother's Day present. He didn't even understand it. And Charles had got me a really nice Mother's Day gift. This is our first time. And who knows if he was showboating. It didn't matter. I was really excited. And I honestly reacted to that gift. And Scott
I know how you did it.
not a good gift giver. He's a lot of great things, but the gifts suck. So I had to like help coach him on gifts. Like, can you just get me this exact one right here? Like that exact one. Like, don't click different on Amazon. Just click buy. But Charles is a great gift giver. It's like amazing. So yeah, my reaction was authentic, but it was untimely. So that was unfortunate. I had to deal with that. That was an awkward moment. The other awkward moment is Trey wanted to do a game day with everybody. I think it might have been his birthday. So we were playing in headbands, and he's like maybe 14 at this time. We're playing headbands, and me and Charles are, all these years. At that point, it was like 20 some years of knowing each other because I met him when I was 16, and we didn't get married right away. So fast forward, we're playing headbands. We know how each other think before we can think. So we avoided playing headbands together, kind of intentionally, but everything was fine until Trey paired us together. And headbands, you have a timer, and you're supposed to get so many. And we probably got like 20, like 15 in that little timer time, that 1 minute. And we got into the rhythm of just, what about just motions. And Scott was like, "Are y'all doing ESP?" And we saw how people were reacting after the fact, but it was too late. He was like, "Well, nobody can beat that," and it was just so awkward. And we were like, maybe we shouldn't play these kind of games together anymore, because he was like, "There's no way you guys can get that." He grunted and you guessed, and I'm like, it was not like that, but that's what other people. Maybe it was like that. I don't know.
No, it was absolutely like that. I wasn't even there, and I know it was absolutely like that. But it's 15 years together.
But for like a month after that, Scott kept trying to like half finish his sentences and see if I would understand them. I had to have like a hard like argument. Like it was definitely not our first argument, but it was like one of our me really being pointed and kind of mean about it. Like, if you don't stop half communicating, communication is, my dad used to say, good communication is communication that's understood. I was like, you doing this half thing? He's like, I'm hoping that we're gonna get to be in sync like that. I'm like, stop. That's not how this works. You can't tell me a small piece of something and expect me to understand it. We're having all kinds of miscommunication because you're doing this dumb stuff. Use your words. And it was funny.
That takes time. Like for me and Philanda, like we're 14 years in, and we're at that place now where like There's a whole lot of stuff we don't have. Our typical night is she's in her recliner, I'm on my recliner. We're right next to each other. We're watching TV, and we're not really even saying anything, but we're saying a whole lot because we already know. It's that, like, we still have to talk. Like, words still have to come out of our mouths, but we understand how we both flow. We understand our moods. There's things that we understand. There's stories that I have told 100 times, stories she's told 100 times, so we don't have to do a whole lot of it. If we ever play games like that, like maybe charades or whatever, we'd be really good because we know how each other does, except for spades. We're never allowed to play. I told her she could not be my spades partner because I want to stay married. I am evil when it comes to spades, and if you mess up a book as my partner, I'm gonna cuss you out. Like, forget all this, hey, Jesse's a pastor and minister and man of God. Forget all of that. You about to find out the other side of me that folks don't read the place. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not. And I can't play against you because I talk way too much trash to my opponent. Yeah, and I know you. We 14 years in. I got secret dirt. I know how to distract you. I'm going to have to pay for it later on. But I'm trying to win this game right now. That's like competitiveness. Yeah. So I get what you're saying, Scott. Trust me, it's gonna come. Y'all only 5 years in. Y'all still got Similac behind the ears in terms of y'all's relationship and marriage. Y'all give it some more time. Give it another 6 or 7 years. It'll start to click like that.
A few years ago too, we got better. He now communicates so fully, so that's really good. But yeah, there was that moment. I was like, what in the heck is this? Because we went from like really great communication to these like partial that I didn't know what to do with it until I finally snapped. Like, this is crazy. But yeah. Yep. So I'm not allowed to play those type of games with Charles. And nobody said it. We just agreed. It wasn't ever, no one ever said it. You just read your partner and know that that was uncomfortable for them. And if you care, you're like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore.
I promise you, I get it. I can see everybody around like, and he's like, oh, it's, and what, how the, I get it. I'm sorry, that tickled me because I just had the visual. It's hilarious to me. I know it's not hilarious to Scott, but it's hilarious to me because I understand it. Okay, so I was going to play this video for this next question, but I'm going to just try to describe what's going on. No, let me do the lead-in question first. Let me do that first. Let me be a good host and interviewer and do the lead-in question first. So, this has nothing to do with you and Scott, and show ain't got nothing to do with you and Swamp Rat. But we're gonna talk in general in terms of relationships and dating, because it seems like the dating scene for both sides, both men and women, nowadays is trash. I'm 14 years in, so I don't know directly, but I'm on social media and I see the things. It's trash. So the first leading question is, what advice would you give to a young woman who wants to be in a relationship and ultimately become a wife? What would be your advice?
I don't know. Oh, what would be my advice? Join groups that physically take you out, like an outdoors group, and do things that you like to do. So if you like, whatever that is, arts and crafts, medieval times, Comic-Con, figure out something you really like to do that other people will be at. It can't be a solo activity, hiking, camping, whatever. And join a group of people that like to do that. Because we're going to somehow, through osmosis, meet from these two ends of the earth and have a connection is bullshit. So, no, don't even bother that. Yes, you can use social media, but I don't think you should use it for your dating pool so much as for your friendship activity pool. And you'll find people that like to do what you do. And then just being around somebody that likes to do what you do can bring a natural chemistry that's real, authentic, good. If you like to travel, join a traveling group. Things like that. Definitely do not scare anybody, even your own self. I think sometimes you can almost put the energy out there that's the negative. I want this so bad that you're so much driven that you're almost sending the reverse signals out. So I honestly, I've been engaged a lot. We won't talk about how much, but just a lot. And I honestly never wanted it. It was never like I want to get married. As a matter of fact, I didn't want to get married. I tell you, trick yourself into not thinking you want to get married. It's the easiest way to get married. The actions you act and the way you act and your demeanor and your demands totally change when you're not gun ho for something. When it's not a carrot dangling in front of you. Especially if you don't want it, it's like move that away. They can't trick you into it. Nobody can use it against you. It's not fake words. It's like you got to show me and convince me because I don't even want this. And your whole demeanor of it changes, and you find a person who is really going to show and prove. And you're not doing things to get them to show you. You're naturally repulsed by it or not into it, and they got to kind of convince you into it. Also, lets people know that Common was not playing when he said, "Don't take a whole day to recognize sunshine." And people keep saying this, but when a guy is ready to get married, he dates for his wife. And you do not take a long time. It's lickety split. You'd be like, well, wait, huh? What? You're shocked at the amount of speed that somebody who is serious about you changes everything. They're like, their whole life changes instantly. Like, I will, no, you're going to be my wife. And they say it early, and then they start demonstrating it, and it's so fast, your head's spinning. Like, you want to get married? Can we date? Like, you trying to slow it down. Can we pump some brakes? What is you talking about? So, and it's not like lip service. They're serious. Like, let's meet parents, let's meet friends, let's set dates for this marriage. And you're like, wait, we on date number 6 or whatever. You get it. But it's fast. So if it's taking a long time, if you feel like you're convincing somebody, then you're probably the placeholder and you're not the one. That's not where he is in his life right now. He recognizes you're a great woman, but he doesn't want to commit to you. So take a step away from that. Sometimes taking a step away from that makes him realize that he does want to marry you. But those might be my advice. And definitely don't go on whatever it is. I don't even know what they're called anymore.
The dating apps.
Plenty of fish. Just make me hate you. Whatever. You need to call it waste of time. Don't do it. Baby, unless you just want free meals. If you're saying I want a nice free meal with a guy that's trying to get in my pants, then go for it. Just prepare to say no. Wear your ugly girl panties, the ones that you won't ever show to anybody, and then you can go on the date and enjoy your meal, and then play octopus hands all day, and then tell him no. But if you're looking for something serious, just go find a group.
You have no idea how much of a great segue that is into the next question. Like, that is a great segue because there was this viral incident a little while ago. This is months ago now. So if I don't blame you if you don't remember it. This is what I was gonna play the video to, but it's like 6 minutes long and we've been talking for a while, so I don't know if you want to see the video, but I'll try to explain it first, and if you remember it, great. If not, I'll play some of it and see where it goes from there. Because it started this phenomenon of what I call entitled ignorant women, who, if I was dating, I probably would set fire to. And this is the first one that I saw, and this is the first one that I know that went like crazy viral. It is the Cheesecake Factory incident.
Oh, I saw that.
So you did see it, good, so I ain't got to play it. So for those who don't know, just a quick memory refresher, this dude was taking this young lady out on their first date to the Cheesecake Factory. She decides to go live and sit like a petulant, spoiled brat in the car and not get out because she is too fine to go to the Cheesecake Factory. I can't go in looking like this, and she's ugly. Let's be clear about this. She is not cute. I don't know what about her thought she looked too. And if you ever see this, yes, my ugly self called you ugly because ugly recognize ugly. I may look like Flavor Flav, but you look like New York. Just so we're clear. You was in 8-foot braids. I'm just letting it be known. Matter of fact, hold on. I know how I'm gonna do it. I don't even have to play the video to put you up so folks can see. That's her right there. Y'all see that right there? Look, take a real good look at this face, and you tell me that is cute. Ain't nothing. Anyway, so she's sitting in the car like a petulant child. And she's upset because he has decided to take her to the Cheesecake Factory. And long story short, she decides this ain't happening. I'm not going. He's like, well, we could talk about it. I'll sit in the car and talk about it. Cool, no problem. And he runs. When I found out the full story, because originally the full clip didn't play. The full clip that the clip that was going around was just her being a butthole about not going into the Cheesecake Factory. And then as he's getting in the car, the clip shuts off. The full clip is that he had intended on taking her to a 5-star type restaurant for real. He made reservations for 4 o'clock. I'm sorry, for 5 o'clock. From where she lived, it was an hour to get there. So he shows up at about 4. She's not ready. She don't even come down to say, hey, or call and say, hey, give me a minute. I'm still getting ready. I'm almost done. No. She just leaves him sitting in the car for an hour. Won't let him up. None of that. And then she comes down at about 5:15. They've missed the reservation. So he's trying to figure out, okay, where can I take it? It's still kind of nice. Okay, cool. We going to Cheesecake Factory. She says in the video, hey, I look too good to be walking into the Cheesecake Factory, and the reason I didn't let you in to my place is because, you know, I don't know you like that. And he was like, cool, I understand that, I respect that, but also, do you think I should be going all out on you and I don't even know you like that? So, I bring that scenario up because it brought this whole virality of statements of women who are petulant children like her, probably ugly monkeys that should have been in the Wizard of Oz, making statements of places that you can't take me on the first date. Now, I hate the Cheesecake Factory. Cheesecake Factory sucks. They're overpriced. Their food sucks. Only thing that's good is their strawberry cheesecake, and my wife makes a better strawberry cheesecake than them. So if I want strawberry cheesecake, I'll ask my wife to bake it. Or my second option is go to the grocery store and get Sara Lee's. It's also better than Cheesecake Factory. Anyhow, do you have, if you were dating again, do you have places that are deal breakers for you for a first date?
Absolutely. Have deal breaker places. You have to turn off that video.
Oh, you see the thing? Okay, my bad. It's just
Not see.
There we go.
Their feed.
Oh.
Yeah. So, absolutely have places that are deal breakers, but they're nothing like you would think. It is not going to be a restaurant. I don't care where the restaurant is. It could be a food truck. That's not going to be the deal breaker. Deal breaker places. You cannot take me into an alley. Deal breaker places. You cannot take me to your house. I'm just saying, you asked
who was taking you to an alley for a first date?
Nobody did, but I'm telling you, it ain't happening. Like, we got some places. So, yes, you aren't taking me to your house. You're not taking me to a friend's house unless that's prearranged. So, as long as it's a destination, the intent is to have communication. We don't got to go in. We can go on a walk in the park. But, you know, yes, I'm just being honest. You probably can't take me into the worst part of East St. Louis without my knowledge in the middle of the night. We got to have some basics. But if it's safe, clearly safety, and it's not like, you know, so offensive like your bedroom or your house, then I don't know, then I'm all for that. It's all about communication and getting to know one another. And people all have all these standards, and they can't even meet their own standards. Be the change you want to see. If you are that picky about a place, then perhaps you need to be the first person to initiate and set the date and then pay for the date. I would happily do that. Now, I'm not always about that, and I don't mind if the man wants to, but if it's hard enough for a person to ask you out, to come and get you, and to try and plan anything, I'm appreciative of that, and then we're going to see if we can get to know each other. And if the vibe is great, we'll naturally go to more places. And I have a very creative mind. We will hit all of those places, because if you don't naturally take me, I'll naturally take you, and we'll just get there, and we'll elevate together. But, yeah, there's no such, we can go to a food truck. I don't care. That's not it, but yeah. I'm
dying over the alley. Is this nigga Bruce Wayne's daddy? And y'all go, what experience other than getting murdered and mugged is gonna happen on a date in an alley?
See, you figured it out.
Why?
Like, you know, I'm just saying, like that don't sound great, so we probably not doing that.
Oh my God. Oh, I needed that laugh. Jesus. And Allie got me. Oh my God.
There's places. I'm just saying. I'm
And for that to be the first thing that came to your mind, we're not going to an alley. And you said it like it's normal. Like people out here dating in alleys that aren't homeless.
Well, people asking for people ask you to take him to Dubai on the first date. I'm just thinking of the exact opposite of foolishness. You're not gonna take me somewhere crazy. But yeah, there's no if the person is so picky. My dad used to say the best first date, and there are bad first dates. I would still go because you took the time. But a bad first date is anything that doesn't allow you to have communication. So to me, movies are a horrible first date. I can't talk
Yes.
to you. We're not interacting. I know nothing about you unless you're planning to do some kind of mini unique indie film, and then after that we go on a walk to discuss it or something. It's just that's not a good date. But any place eating and dinner, I mean, I would say something really loud where there's no way you can communicate, like a dance place or something where there's loud music and no way to communicate. Bad first date. Can you gyrate up against each other? Yeah, but is it a truly good first date to connect? Probably not. Would I still go? Absolutely. I mean, you took the time to plan it. Will you get the deductions in your ability to take me on a future one? Absolutely. But yeah, there's no reason to be such a snob and so bitchy that you make it impossible to date you. Talking about some of you have standards. This is crazy. If you're that picky, then you plan the date. And I don't mean tell them what to do. I mean plan it. And I'm like 50. I 100% agree with this. The person that asks pays. So don't. And these women out here can't rub two nickels together and talking about some spend $5,000 on me. They're crazy. They've lost it.
That's actually kind of in my next question. As to what are your thoughts on the roles in dating, like who pays and how much or what should be expected? Because this is again, Falana says this to me all the time that she's so glad that she's married and not in this dating pool, but she says it for other reasons. I am so glad I'm married and I'm not in this dating pool because look, you just one of the other videos that went viral in the same time frame. Really, just I wanted to punch a wall through it, but I own the wall, and so I'm not busting up stuff that I'm paying for. I bust up your stuff. I'm not busting up my stuff. This dude was pursuing her for like a while online, and she got hungry and just wanted a meal, so she finally said yes. So he took her to this seafood restaurant, seafood bar, and she got she ordered like 48 seashell. What the heck were they?
Oyster?
Yes, oysters, and 3 drinks. And he looked at that, and she expected him to pay. And he did the best thing I've ever heard of any dude doing. He said, "I'll be right back and go in the bathroom," and left. Text her and said, "Hey, what's your Cash App? I left. I'm gonna Cash App you what I owe you from my end of the meal." She went live and dogged him for it. And I'm like, "Oh, you ate 48 oysters. Like, let's be real. Those oysters were $16 an oyster almost. I wish I would spend $3,000 on a meal for you. You fat ape. If you don't, you're not doing this for yourself. Why am I expected to do this for you? You ain't my wife." So for you, and some of this you've already answered, but it's in the lineup of questions, so I figured might as well dig more deeper into it. What would you tell these young women and these young men about the expectation of roles in dating, especially the first date? Because the first date's always the hardest.
I think it's basic kindness in general things, rules. We were all taught, and maybe something skipped in this generation because they keep doing these what's to finish the sentence things, and this new generation can't answer that either. So maybe we skip something that our parents didn't skip with us, but the golden rule is always be do unto others as you wish to do unto you, right? So just reverse your roles. If you were the other person, honestly, what would be acceptable? And put yourself in their shoes. Actually, better yet, be the other person. Ask a guy on a date and be the other person in his shoes And what do you want him to be like? He's a human being too. So flip it. That's exactly what another human being is going to want. That's exactly what they're going to want. And money isn't the issue, but respect is. If it's the very first date and it's the very first encounter and you take it to the nth degree, that's disrespectful. Now, whether or not he pays, I personally think that if you ask somebody on a date, if you have limited funds, you should make that clear in the beginning. But respect is respect. So she was disrespectful. I personally would have paid, and we just never, that would have been the end of that. We never would have saw each other. I think what he did was funny too, especially when somebody's being disrespectful and abusive, because that's a form of abuse, monetary abuse. But, just reciprocal. Reciprocity is there for a reason. Do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Would you want to go on a date, or would you want to ask a person on a date? And this is for women out there. Men already know the answer because they take women on dates a lot more. But as a woman, would you want to put yourself there, ask a guy on a date? He goes on a date with you, and he spends ridiculous amount of money. Would you feel comfortable? Now, whether or not you pay, I can pay it. I'm still not going to appreciate that you took advantage of me, and they don't even call you. You're going to feel some kind of way. So just put yourself in that person's shoes. And kind of remember that dating is the whole point of dating. It's not to see what you could get them for free, or to up another person, or to make them prove that they love you through a monetary expense. It's to connect and get to know one another. Have a good time and have a connection. That's it. And if you do that, you'll have fun and people will come and see you. And your light will shine. If you're out to get something and use it, Tori, you're going to end up with a lot of bad experiences. And it's just going to be the reality. And you're not going to find Mr. right for you anyway. You're going to find something you're not really ready for and don't want, because at that point you're treating yourself like a commodity to be bought. So you're going to get that energy. So just play nice.
I think part of the problem is with connecting is you have to know yourself to connect, and this generation don't know themselves. They only identify themselves by the things they can either buy or get.
I think social media has tainted people in this whole influencer culture, and not every influencer is bad. I love a lot of them, or I like a lot of them, but that influencer
I disagree with that though.
And upping one another and snapping only the best pictures of life and only showing everything in this all roses, and then you hear your friend got $1,000, so you want to see if you can got $1,000. You got rappers and people, not just rappers. I have nothing against rappers. I actually like them just fine. But you have people out here promoting the "it ain't tricking if you got it" lie. Like, tricking is still tricking. You buying a hoe. Like, what you playing? I don't care if you got it or don't. It's still buying somebody, and that's ridiculous. So people are out here with disingenuous, can't talk today. Disingenuous intentions, and that breeds that whole piece. I think guys can't go out saying, "Well, I'm taking her out on a meal to sleep with her," either, because there's that same thing. Y'all just got to go out for the right reasons. I want to spend good company with a good quality person and get to know them and see if I want to do this again. If you go both out with that intention, you're going to have a great time. It may or may not be a love connect, but you're going to have an awesome time. And then you can do this again, because dating is not about, people always think dating is about finding your soulmate. It's not. Dating is about finding the type of person you don't want. And you learn a lot of frogs, a whole lot of frogs, before you meet a prince. But you can have fun along the way. So speaking of dating,
I specifically wrote this question down as we were talking off air, because it came to mind. I was like, I didn't put that in there. That's a great question. I know we gonna get to this. What is the weirdest date you have ever been on? Since we're talking about dating, weirdest or worst, you can choose either.
Worst is easy. Weirdest is harder. Let me see. I'll do worst, and if I think of weirdest, I'll do that too. Let's see. My worst date. I was 16, so I couldn't date until I was 16, and I started dating a lot when I was 16. It's actually unreasonable. I'll tell the story. My dad had to come up with rules. I literally couldn't do more than 3 dates in a day, on weekends only.
3 dates in a day? Not in a week. 3 dates in a day?
Yeah, he had to come up with that rule, because I took it to the
How did you have time to do 3 dates in a day?
It was only on weekends, so you could only go on so many. And my weekdays, remember, my dad kept me busy, so I could only do weekends. So I could do one night Friday night, 3 on Saturday, and if I timed it right, 3 on Sunday, but sometimes 2 on Sunday. But one Saturday, I had did 5 dates. We won't talk about that because that was not my worst date.
Oh,
But I did get in trouble, and I did have new rules made. So we're just gonna say I had lost my mind, but I wasn't. I wasn't. I was. Still, I stayed a virgin until I was 18, so it wasn't anything about sex, but it was about dating. So I dated a lot. You asked me out. I said, yeah. I tried to squeeze it in. Anyway, we had rules, and you had to have 2 hours between your dates. All for a reason. One dude was pulling in my driveway while another dude literally pulled out, like was not even around the corner yet. My dad lost his mind.
Mag was a player.
Everybody knew I wasn't dating anybody. I wasn't even kissing these dudes. I remember my girlfriend thought later on, like when I got older and she knew how much I dated, she literally thought that I was like messing with people, and I was like, I went on like 100 dates in like 5 months. What is you smoking? Like, I didn't sleep with none of them. I didn't kiss any of them. I'd have mono or something. Like, this is crazy. I wasn't doing nothing. We were literally holding hands because I was at that innocent, cutesy phase. Anyway, fast forward, my worst date. That's what you asked, not about my crazy dating life.
I should have asked about that too.
This guy, I don't even know his name. It don't even matter. But he kept asking me out. We had pagers, gave my page number. He calls me on the house phone. We're talking, blah, blah, blah. So he asked me out. We had talked for like a couple of weeks on the phone here and there because I was addicted to the phone. If it was addiction to the phone, I had it. That was the thing. So we were talking. So he asked me out, and I asked him, I said, is this going to be Dutch or, are you paying for the date? And he was like, and I was like, and I was going to turn down Dutch because I had a dating roster. To put him in my dating roster, remember these 3 days, I had to bump somebody else. So I was going to have to cancel somebody. So he said he was going to pay for the date, and he wanted to go to the movies. Really bad first date. I already knew this. Me and my dad had talked about good first dates, but I was like, okay, whatever. And so I told him, okay. I always brought my own money. My grandmother always made sure I had. My dad did too. Do you have enough money? Here's extra money. So this is me at 16 having like $100, $120 in my purse to go on a date, which shouldn't cost more than $20. This is always. My parents was like, you will not be out there by yourself, stranded. You can take a cab. You can do all this. And I also had, before credit cards was a thing, I had my grandmother's credit card, which I don't know how it was going to use, but you could back then. And if anything, emergencies, those rates were crazy. I could use it. But I always kept like $120 per date. So as a girl, pretty good back in, we talking in the 90s. So this is a good thing. So anyway, he comes and picks me up, and it's this car, and it's really beat up. But I'm really not picky about any of that. So I'm like, okay. But that wasn't the bad part. So he crawls out of his window, and you're gonna let me get the story here. So he crawls out his window, and he walks around to the other side of the car. And he opens the door, and he lets me in, and I get in. And first of all, my parents make you give ID and all of that. So he had to show his ID and all that. So I had to anyway, we get in, and he tries to close the door, and it doesn't close. So he has to close my side of the door like 4 times. But it finally closes pretty hard, and it seems good. And this is like a, I don't know, 1970 Buick. It would seem like it was about to fall apart. Now we in the 90s now. So he gets in, and he's driving to the movies, and he says he's low on gas. So he puts $5 in the tank. It might have been 3. He puts money in the tank. I think it was 5 because he had a 20. He put $5 in the tank, and we get to the. It really might have been 3. We're just gonna go with 5 because it sounds good. I think it was like $3, but we get to the movies, and okay, fine. So he gets out of his car door normally, and he opens my door normally. I guess
Hold on, push pause. I'm sorry. Wait a second. Did you say he got out of his car normally? So
right.
Why in God's name did he crawl out the window the first time?
We get in there. So we watch the movie. So we go to pay for the movie, and he doesn't have enough money because he got this gas, and the tickets were like $7 each, and he's like 14, and with taxes like 15 and some change. So he doesn't have enough money to pay for the movie ticket. So he asked me, after he had told me he wasn't, if I could pay for the movie. I almost canceled the date then, but I was like, you know what? Younger me was much nicer. I was like, things happen. It's fine. We're here. We're going to make the best of this. Okay, so I give him a $10 bill, and he pays the rest of the ticket. Fine. And so we go in, and then with my change, which was like $9 or $8 and some change, he asked me if I want something from the from the stand, from the popcorn stand, and I say no thank you. He never offers me my change back. I don't even think about it. We watch the movie. We get back out. We leave. We get in a car, and he gets into his car normally because he didn't want to crawl through the window again. And he slams his door. He lets me in first, and he gets me in. A few more slams. Boom, boom, boom. We're in. He slams his door, and so we're driving supposedly to a little park. But he's driving home, and he flies out of the car, and he's holding onto the wheel. He's Flintstoning he's Flintstoning the car.
No.
Yeah, and there's an oncoming car, so I'm like, we're gonna die. Somehow he runs fast enough and hops in and whatever the car over, and he still decides that he's okay. So he starts driving again. He doesn't stop or anything. He kind of still drives, and he flies back out the car. So he's Flintstoning again. So I'm scared again. So finally he gets back in. I'm like, he's gonna fly out the car. I'm thinking, how quickly can I get over here and grab the wheel? Should I grab the wheel? What are we doing with this? So anyway, he gets back in the car, and I tell him, you gotta stop. So he pulls over and he stops, and he's like starts crying. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, the door doesn't work and the lock never works, and I shouldn't have opened it, but I was embarrassed. And so I don't know if we can drive home. So I'm like, okay, this is still, we only have pagers, pre-cell phone. So I'm like looking around like we're in the middle of nowhere. Where am I going to get a payphone? Because I'm about to call my dad to tell him to come get me. So he says, give him a second. And he like fiddles with, he has some like screwdriver. He fiddles with the lock. It's crazy. So we get back in and he slams the door from the outside. And then he crawls in the window. He headbutts me while crawling in the window. Because he like jumps in and anyway. Yeah. So then he gotta remember these dates, right? So then he decides that he's still running out of gas. So mind you, he starts giving me my $8 and some change back. So he's running out of gas. So he goes back to the gas station and he puts $3 more into the gas tank with my $3. And then offers me, and then buys some gum at the stand, and offers me gum. I guess I forgot. On the way there, he was chewing on a piece of gum. And I said, oh, can I have a piece of gum? And he was like, oh, this is my last piece. So he pulls it out of his mouth like he going to give it to me. I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen. So that was on the way to the movie. So on the way back, he remembered that I said I wanted that gum. So he decides to buy it with my money, to buy the 25 cents. It was only juicy fruit. 25 cents was really 25 cents back then. But the nerve of you to offer me a piece of the gum with my 25 cents. I'm feeling some kind of way, by the way, if you don't notice. I'm still mad about my $10. And then, when I didn't take it, he got upset. And we get back to the house because he's worried. Now, he done spent $3 more of my money without talking to me. I asked him for my change back. He goes, oh, you want the change? I was like, yes, I would like my change. He goes, so he pulls out the 5. He don't give me any of the change, but he gives me the 5 of the 10 that I have, that he has remained. Anyway, he starts trying to kiss me. I leaped over the car so hard, I hurt my shoulder on this broken up door.
Oh my God.
Then he tells me he's scared that the door isn't locked all the way. Can I get out? He will crawl out, or he could crawl over me and open the door for me. I was like, I can get out myself. So I get out and I close the door, and he's trying to get out. So he catches the door and pushes it open. He's like, I don't get a hug or nothing. I'm like, no. So he gives me a hug, and he was so, all of this had got him so emotional that he was having BO. So he hugs me extra tight with body odor. And I'm like, I just went on the worst date of my life. I get home and my dad was like, how was your date and all of this? And I was just telling him, and everybody cracking up because, I'm really into it at this point. I'm like, well, dude was Fred Flintstone. And they were like, well, what are you talking about, Fred Flintstone? I was like, you know how you run with the car? Like you move the car with your feet? I was like, well, his feet look like Fred Flintstone feet because they was running so fast. Anyway, worst day ever. And he was serious. Called me every day for a while. Talking to him, can we go on another date? Absolutely not. Absolutely never.
That is horrendous.
Yep, bad.
Oh my God. I mean to laugh because it's hilarious, but that is still horrendous. Oh my God. That is the fact that he crawled out the car. That should have been your sign. This date should not take place. He crawled out the window of his car. Everything in you should have said, nope.
I said we started
you know what? Don't even worry about it.
But at that age, I was like, oh, it'll be okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that the car looks awful and it looks like it's going to break down.
No, I can deal with an awful looking car. I'm okay with you being okay with that. I'm okay with you being okay with the car looks like it's gonna break down because he's a
Things
kid.
happen. Yeah,
He not even just things happen. He's a kid. He ain't gonna have a Lexus, so he probably gonna have a beater. I got that. But dude, you had to crawl out the window. You Dukes of Hazzard your car, and this isn't the Dukes of Hazzard. Nah, this is over. Oh my God. Okay, let's move on. Because I want to get to some of these fun questions that you were excited about. But first, we got to talk a little bit about parenting. Because I want to talk about I'm going to call him the first love of your life. I want to talk about my godson, Mr. Tremendous. I'm so proud of him. He's going overseas for college. This dude said, screw America, we going to London. How shocking for you was that to get that information?
I probably told you this, but okay.
You did. That's why I had to ask the question.
My goodness. So, he knew he was going to college. He went to a college prep high school, NAIS, one of those schools. So, private school cost me a fortune. So, to graduate, you got to get accepted to college. So, we knew he was going to get accepted, and I knew he was going to go. Like, that was all planned. I'm waiting for ask him where he's going to apply and all this. He's not really saying much. He tells me, like, Oklahoma University and some BS schools. And not that those are great schools. I'm not knocking those schools. I'm just saying. He just says some schools. So I'm like, okay, I have rules. So I tell him that he cannot go to a school. He swears I said within 2 states. I said within 2 hours, but my kid has selective hearing, so whatever. Within 2 hours of home. But he swears I said within 2 states. Either one is fine, whatever. But I wouldn't send him necessarily 2 states away. I just didn't want him to be really right close, and I have my reasons. But fast forward. I'm sitting downstairs, regular day, reading my book in my chair downstairs, something like this. But this is our media room. I know it's well lit up, but it gets dark. And so downstairs, I'm in the family room, right in front of the kitchen, normal place. So I'm sitting there. Brown reclining chairs, sofas, and blah, blah, blah. Doing my usual. Everybody got that spot in their house. And he screams down the stairs, Mom, we have early decision. And I'm like, we didn't have this when I was growing up, but I did know because I was keeping up on time. I know what early decision is. For all of y'all that don't know, it's when the school selects you to go right away. When you apply, basically within a week of you applying, long before they make everybody else's decisions, your grades, your stats, your whatever, meet their qualifications enough that they decide they want you enough that they will give you first choice to come to them. They're saying you're accepted, and to give them the early decision to attend, will you accept us first and decline all other schools? That's early decision. You made your decision super early to go to them. And you put it in writing, and you put down some money to secure that as a deposit. So if you go back on that, I was about to say renege, but I'm trying to do better with vocabulary because it has meanings. But anyway, then you lose your deposit. And they try to make it not horribly painful, but substantial. So like $1,000 or something like that. So, so he's like, early decision. I was like, where'd you get accepted? Where early decision? Come here. So, because, we're still ghetto parents. We yell back and forth downstairs. And my last 2 houses, we had intercoms, and I still yelled. I wasn't getting up to push the intercom. I'm like, if I can get up and push the intercom, I can get all the way up. So I was all about screaming. So,
You never thought about just taking your phone and calling him? Because I know he has his own phone. You could have just.
We do that sometimes when he acts like he can't hear me, when his selective hearing kick in. But for this moment, we still old school. I'm yelling up the stairs like our parents did us. So I'm yelling up. So he bounces down the stairs, and he's like, Mom, what? Oh, yeah, Holt. I was like, where is Holt? He's like, yeah, Holt is International Business School in London. What? What did you say? You applied to a school in London? Oh, yeah, Mom. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
That's like, a little more than 2 states away.
I was like, what are you saying? And you want a decision today? When does early decision due? Tomorrow? I was like, you don't have to tell them. I was so through. I was just in awe, like, we doing international? How many international schools did you apply to? He's like, a couple. I was too through. I didn't even know we were doing international, but, I wrapped my mind around it. This is how kids tell. I felt like when I told my grandmother that I needed pom-poms for cheerleading, and I was like, yeah, it's at 9 o'clock, and it was like 9 p.m. that night, and it was like 9 a.m. the next day. I needed the pom-poms, and she's like, there's no place open, but we went to Toys R Us anyway. I felt like that. I was just how it was like unprepared. My face was, you should. It was just like, are you kidding me? We're not doing that. Like, I really had that. Like, I think I said all that out loud. He was like, I can't go. And my heart broke. And I was like, you can go anywhere you want to. But damn, all the way to London? It took a while. I think I'm still, like, I'm better. But the first couple of weeks of that, I was like, I don't want him to go to London. Like, it was a process. They meet with you, though, as a parent, and they give you all of the play-by-play of all the great things. And so it was the school and all of their opportunities that really talked me into it. But, yeah, it's still hard. And I only had one. So, you know, I totally understand air and spare, but I didn't do this right. So I'm like, all my eggs is in one basket. I'm like, go wrong. Yeah. Nothing can go too wrong. I mean, he can come back and all that, but as long as he comes in one piece, if he didn't like it, he comes back. He loves it. Great. I think he'll do fine. They have a really unique curriculum. I think he'll be great there. But yeah,
he's your kid. Of course, he'll do great. There's not a place that I don't think he can excel in.
I actually had moments where I was like almost in tears, where I was trying to think of, like, you know, you prepare that Virgo mind, preparing for the worst case. I was like, let me look up the flights. Let me look up the times. No matter the finances, it's crazy, but that's okay. No matter the finances, I can't get to him in 24 hours. Like, it's no way. I was like, it's going to be the earliest. And that's if time, like, the world revolves pretty decently, right, would be like 38 hours. And so just go ahead and put 2 days in there on the average. I can do, because let's say I find out there's a crisis today, I can fly out tomorrow and get there like in 14 hours or something crazy. So that's crazy.
Yeah. This is a big move. This is a big move.
Right.
But again, I say he got all your genes. And so there's no way he won't succeed. Like, sure. He is set up to succeed with any place he goes, with whatever he chooses to do. That young man going to succeed.
Yeah, he's doing great. I'm really excited for him. And it's right up his alley to go and explore and do things, and he'll be able to fly all over. He's had his passport for forever. So we already put down his, they call them lofts there. He actually has a studio loft. I'm like, wait, we did this wrong. I don't know. I'm scrolling.
Right.
But that's what they do down there. So he has like a kitchen. It's a studio loft. He has a whole apartment to himself, a little apartment. I'm like, already? I'm like, I started out in a dorm room, but they don't do that there.
With a roommate who I didn't
like.
They
call them flats. Oh, I didn't like my roommate either. That was my first and last roommate.
I almost punched my roommate. I became an RA after that. That's how bad I wanted to rule over people as opposed to room with people.
For hitting assault is less. Yeah, I hit that bitch with a telephone.
Imagine how to calculate. First of all, you would have to admit who. You never said who. So somebody come and say it was me. No, it wasn't you. You never said who.
Clocked her in the head with a telephone. Yeah, she was crazy. She tried to lock me out of my own room. Yeah, so that didn't work.
I had that. I had that experience.
Yeah, but I'm not saying for that. That didn't work. And so, yeah, that reminds me of the girl on school where the girl was putting whatever in her water and made her sick. A herpes. Something like. I would have been under the jail. See, this is some things that my dad used to say, things that are worth going to jail for. I would have either got away with it or I would have had.
I'm getting away with it. See,
I would not have been on the news talking about it because it would have been nothing to talk about. She would have been missing. She would have been one of these girls missing. I'd have been like, well, somebody must have broken into the room and took her because I don't know. But yeah, no, I clocked mine in the head. We had those big white telephones that you hung, still hung up on. She got
I had my across the hall room. I guess you call it neighbor. I had him scare my roommate into opening the door. He thought because he wanted to have sex with some skank that he had met in the room that I was also in, that he could also lock me out, and I was one of those. I'm okay with it. I said, no, both of you have rooms. Go to her room. Well, boys aren't allowed in her room. Well, she can't stay here. You better go and you better go make a public spectacle on the lawn or the lobby. Something, but it's not gonna happen. I'm going to sleep. No, you saw the sock. I said, get him to open his door. And as soon as the football player knocked, he knew the knock. And so he opened the door, and I came right behind and said, thanks. And I walked up to him, and I said, so here's what's going to happen. Either you're going to get out with her and do whatever you got to do and stay away from me until tomorrow morning, or I'm going to embarrass you in front of your girl, and I might just beat you with her. Needless to say, he left the room, and I locked him out. And to make sure he couldn't get back in, I pushed the desk in front of the door. So there's no way he was getting back in that night. Yeah.
She just said that I would come in late because I was being in soccer all the time studying. She was like, and she needed her sleep, and she didn't feel like I should be there. So I don't even remember what she did. She like put something in front of I couldn't get in my room. So after I finally got in the room, she said, I can't remember what she said. Crazy. We had a board where you put who called. And she had, and I had little notes, and she had erased it all, and was like, "Well, I'm not your secretary." And I was like, "Look, I didn't ask you to. You don't have to take no messages. Move." And some of her clothes was on my bed, and I slept on the top. Anyway, that didn't go well. She got in my face. She was yelling and screaming, and I told her stop, and I snapped. I remember thinking, I'm tired. She's lost her mind. I'm not arguing back and forth with her. She got a few seconds to get out of my face, and I was arguing with her loudly, and then I went quiet. Everybody know if I go completely quiet, run. She missed the memo, and she got clocked in the head with that phone.
Most of your best stories start with, and then I snapped, because it's going to happen.
I remember it, and you can feel it. Like some people, I don't know how other people do, but I literally feel the switch. It clicks, and I'm very much aware, and it's too late. I don't even want to hear nothing else. And she was like this close in my face, though, like really in my face, and she like must have hit the phone or something, and that was it. And that was all. She got hit. She went to sleep real well. She slept real well right there on the floor.
That's before we do about concussions.
I didn't care. I didn't know about them, but I was okay. She would have got one anyway. Getting in my face, locking me out of my room, and then yelling and screaming. Girl, that was crazy. But anyway, from that I knew I don't need roommates. I didn't have very many. The next time I had a roommate, it was one of my really good friends, and we had an apartment with 2 separate bedrooms. So, all the years in between, all 3 or 4 years in between, it was me by myself.
So I'm gonna ask 2 more serious questions. We're gonna get to this fun stuff before. That way, at the very least, I'm no longer than 2.5 hours. I said an hour and a half. We didn't go an hour over. I love it. I don't really care. But you know,
can cut out stuff. Just delete stuff.
I'm not cutting out nothing. I don't edit this. Like this stays. This is what it is. And the only way I'm editing it is if I decide to break this into parts. And I'm only cutting it off at a part and then picking it up at the same place in the next part. So, but no, this ain't gonna be edit. Edit what? No, that's not what I do. You ought to be glad this ain't live. You ought to be glad I didn't go live with this one and do it live, because this would be 3-4 hours easy. Because the folks who come in, they'll start asking questions. It's a whole thing. It's fun. But yeah. But I knew with the time difference, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do that, because there's a time difference, and this is a weekday. Normally, my lives that I do on Saturday after I finish service, and so I don't really care, because I ain't got nothing to do on Sunday mornings. So I will be up till 1 o'clock in the morning doing this and be fine. But
maybe a short live if people really bug you or have a lot of questions. I don't know. We'll see. Go for it, though. What's your next question?
Okay. This one I asked before a couple of days ago when we talked, when you was worried about what kind of questions I was going to ask. It just came up, and I loved your response so much that I was like, I'm making sure I ask this during the interview. Are you excited to be an empty nester? Because y'all about to be empty nesters. Y'all be able to walk around the house naked and everything, and be all through the house, and you know he gone. Are you excited now for that freedom?
No, hell no. I I think that's shit parents that should be parents say. Look, if you love your child, not even just love your child, but if you really enjoy parenting and you understand what it's like to be at this age at 18, you don't want your child to be kicked out of the street and going in and doing that. I want my baby with me. If the only reason that I'm learning to be okay with him going anywhere, let alone London, is because I know it's good for him. And as a parent, you sacrifice for them. But if I was being true to myself, I'd be selfish. I'd be like, yeah, college is out. You're just going to stay at home. I got enough money. We got this. Like, no, I want to spend time with I actually enjoy my kid. I actually enjoy hanging with him and doing stuff with him. And he's really funny. No, I want my kid here. But that's not what helps people grow, right? So that wouldn't be good for him. That would be stunting, in so many ways. And I want him to have that independence. I want him to become the man he's supposed to be. So I will give a little push, but I wholeheartedly hope he comes back and saves money and lives in our house or something or whatever. But no, there's no desire to be empty nesters. If I wanted to, no, hell no, no. I want my baby here, 100%. I'm like always laughing at parents. It's like, yeah, when he turned 18, the day he turned 18, I'm putting him out. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, no, they're not ready for the world. And don't you even like your kid? Like, really?
See, I didn't say it's on the phone because I was waiting to do this on the podcast. I actually was excited to be an empty nester. I love Ashley. I love her to pieces. She is a blast to be around. She's good people. She has grown to be a wonderful woman. And she's a good mother. So I love her. However, I enjoy being an empty nester. Falana wasn't good with it at first, but she now enjoys being like, for real? What?
Different phases. And I tell everybody this. If you have a baby, and that's the one thing I could go back and I think parents that do it the second time are just in a different mindset. But enjoy every phase. It feels like forever in that phase. But as soon as you're past that phase, you miss it so much. So I'm sure in the next phase, when he's not here and I'm not worrying about what time he's going to get home, if he's going to get pulled over, what he's doing, all of those things, I'll find enjoyment in that phase. But looking into that phase right now, I feel like that's going to be torture. I'm not ready.
When does not worrying about them kick in? Because she's almost 30 and I still worry about her.
I know.
Like at all times. However, I don't want... No,
up late till they get in the house.
It's worse.
Oh, no.
Because see, staying up late till she get. First of all, Ashley wouldn't. No, that's not. She stay out late. What? No, I can't. We have a store in this house, and I go out looking. No, what you're not gonna do. If I got to come find you, I'm ending up on the 6 o'clock news because everybody with you're gonna be alive, but everybody with you got to go. You will have survivor's guilt because you caused this. You made your daddy walk out this house and come find you, and you ought to be glad that daddy came and found you. Because if your mama had to come and find you, it's a whole other issue you're gonna deal with. So not that way.
I actually had to find Trey one time. That's only once. We had a come to Jesus moment. He's good. We're good. It's been great ever since. But once.
We didn't have to go find Ashley. We knew where she was at.
Well, I knew where
but
she was at.
She was late. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Falana had to show up. She had to show. It was late. She had to show up.
Showed up and then showed out. He had the FAFO 100%. He was like, he even said like he was crying. My mom is crazy. His friends know better. Like they're like, Trey is right here. Like they don't play.
Oh, after that moment, her friends learned that yeah, what you're not gonna do, whatever shenanigans y'all gonna be into. This one here, you kick her out because she ain't gonna be part of this crap. Because all of y'all are going to deal with the consequences. Because we're both old school. We beat other people's kids too. So we believe in corporal punishment. We beat ours and yours. So this is what's gonna happen. So if you are okay with getting this whooping that's coming your way, have my daughter in some shenanigans. But like, it's worse now because I can't say to her, "Get your butt home." Because she grown. So now it's like, ooh, all right. And she now has the choice as to whether or not to call me for an emergency or call her mama for an emergency. So we're like, oh, if we don't hear from her in a certain amount of days, it's like, I got to find out if she's still alive. What the heck is going on? Let me call and text her. Let me see because if we got to show up to the house, we got to show up to this house because we ain't heard from you. all of your neighbors are gonna know our name. This is what's gonna happen.
Oh,
So
right.
the worry never stops. And it
Oh.
actually, for me anyway, it is worse.
It's getting more okay. Dang.
But being in the house though, where I can go into any room I want, I don't have to. When I wake up in the morning, and if I want to go to the kitchen to get something from the refrigerator first thing in the morning, I don't have to put on pants or a robe or nothing. I can just walk out the door and not have to worry about. That's wonderful. Yes. I can sit down and watch what I want to watch without having to hear a million and one questions about why I'm watching it. Or, hey, I would like to watch this on the big screen, even though you got a TV in your own doggone room. No,
Trey mostly hangs out in the media room, and I mostly hang out downstairs. But either way, I don't like TV, so we don't have those kind of things. If anything, I try to come up to sit with him because he never sits with me and make him watch something he's watching. Like, oh, we watching this. He's in the anime, so we do something like that. But I get it, and I don't know. Too many rooms. I like it. I'm not ready.
Oh, see, that's what it is.
me again
I know what it is. That's what it is.
and-
You got a lot of rooms in the house, so you don't have to. We don't have that. We don't have a whole lot of rooms. So all the rooms now are wonderful because they're unoccupied. But when you have a lot of rooms, I guess it feels like all the rooms are unoccupied because it takes a while to go into a room where someone else is at. So you always technically an empty nester without being an empty nester. That's not my kid. That's not my testimony. I love her, and she knows she can always come back home. Just not for too long. No, I'm playing.
This is Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk. This is Real Talk Radio. This is Real Talk. High Praise Ministries presents Real Talk.